I tell you what, this AI race just keeps heating up. We now have word that NVIDIA is investing in XAI. Check this out.
$20 billion instead. So you're talking about a doubling in the space of just a couple of weeks. And as you said, NVIDIA, we're hearing, could be one of the ones that's getting involved here. Sources are telling us that they're looking to take an equity investment or make an equity investment worth as much as $2 billion. So yes, it is a major capital raise for the company. And also raising that concern yet again, and it is the subject of our big take today, but essentially talking about how you're seeing sort of a circularity in a lot of these deals, because when NVIDIA makes these investments, these companies are in turn buying NVIDIA chips. So it's that question is this sort of leading into this AI bubble, or is the hype actually real?
I thought the structure of that deal was quite fascinating. We just had it up, and that they're investing in an SPV. The SPV is going to buy the GPU processors, but then those processors are actually going to be rented out to XAI. It's quite a complex structure, and really just speaks to the whole circularity of the whole ecosystem. You know, we have a big take about that up on the terminal today.
Yeah, that's right. So just to sort of recap again, that structure, it's the SPV. So out of that $20 billion, $7.5 billion we're hearing from sources is equity. The remainder is debt. The debt is going to be done through an SPV. It's the SPV that'll buy the chips. They'll be rented. That's how Wall Street investors essentially can recoup their investments on it. So an interesting structure, but as you said, yes, it is the subject of the big take today, because out of these deals, as I said, you've seen NVIDIA agreeing to invest up to $100 billion in OpenAI. You've seen this $2 billion deal into XAI. You've seen OpenAI inking deals with AMD. And what happens in these deals as well, as I said before, it's that question of NVIDIA makes the investment. They're really the ones that are sort of bearing the brunt of this circularity argument, even though you see it applied to hyperscalers, for instance, as well. But NVIDIA really dominates the ecosystem because of their control of these all-important AI chips. But what happens is they make these investments. These companies, in turn, then buy these NVIDIA chips. So again, just going back to that broader thesis, are we seeing a major AI bubble forming, or are we actually going to see this genuine ROI being delivered as well?
So in the latest turn of events, we have yet another investment from NVIDIA. I want to go through why this is beneficial to Elon's XAI, and then I also want to go through why this is beneficial to NVIDIA. Let's get cracking. Firstly, XAI, NVIDIA's investment guarantees XAI gets the computer chips they need when the competition for chips is rife. Bloomberg has reported NVIDIA is investing as much as $2 billion into XAI as part of XAI's recent $20 billion fundraiser, which I believe had doubled from $10 billion from just a few weeks earlier. This investment supposedly ties XAI to purchasing NVIDIA processors for XAI's Colossus 2 data center and guarantees supply amid global chip shortages. This seems positive for XAI as it solves one of their biggest problems. At the moment, you can't just go out and buy NVIDIA's AI chips. Even if you have the money, they're so hard to get that companies often have to wait 6 to 12 months for delivery, and many can't get them at any price. For XAI, which is reportedly spending about $1 billion per month racing to compete with the likes of OpenAI, getting chips is life or death for these companies. Here's why this partnership is very beneficial to XAI. It does a lot to guarantee hardware when competitors are desperate for chips. OpenAI has the backing of Microsoft and has just signed deals with NVIDIA and OpenAI. NVIDIA to invest $100 billion into OpenAI, and then for OpenAI to spend maybe up to $90 or even $100 billion with AMD. Anthropic has Google and Amazon support, so XAI was the underdog without guaranteed supply until now. NVIDIA investing directly will help XAI jump to the front of the allocation queue. When you have the chipmaker as an equity partner, you're not competing for limited supply anymore. You're a strategic priority for the customer. From an NVIDIA point of view, I think this is beneficial for them too. NVIDIA is basically now getting paid twice, once from selling chips, and again when XAI stock value grows. First, they invest $2 billion to buy ownership in XAI. If XAI value grows from $200 billion to, let's say, $400 billion over the next few years, NVIDIA's $2 billion stake could be worth $4 billion. That's a huge profit just from the stock invested. Secondly, XAI uses the $20 billion they've raised to buy NVIDIA chips through the SPV structure. So NVIDIA gets their $2 billion back plus profit by selling GPUs to XAI. They're essentially pre-funding their own chip sales whilst also getting ownership in the customer. The risk reward here is heavily in NVIDIA's favor. The downside is if XAI fails and NVIDIA loses their $2 billion investment, but they still made profit selling chips along the way and still have 99% of their business. Upside, XAI succeeds, becomes worth hundreds of billions of dollars more and makes NVIDIA's stake worth more, while they also collect billions of dollars in chip revenue. The potential upside does seem to be larger than the downside risk in my opinion. This deal structure does seem to be repeatable. NVIDIA is doing similar deals with OpenAI, a $100 billion investment. They did it with CoreWeave and made a fortune with that when it went public, and is repeatedly doing it with other AI startups. This invest, then sell to the model becomes NVIDIA's playbook for capturing both hardware revenue and equity upside across the entire AI ecosystem. And this is why NVIDIA has reportedly participated in over 50 venture deals in just 2025 alone. They're building a portfolio of AI winners while guaranteeing demand for their core product. If you found this video of value, why not consider hitting subscribe? Cheers.